All right, welcome. We should be live. You should see me and George, hopefully, if I pressed all the right buttons.
Hello.
Welcome, George.
Hello.
And hello, Sour Melon Gaming, and Chris, and Barry, and Steven, and Ty.
Hello. Oh,
What's the matter?
Cleanspark, man. Why isn't it 450?
I know, it's not doing its thing yet. It's not doing its thing, but it had a good day, and today was a good day. So drop in the chat if you guys feel like you had a good day today. I guess unless you owned Stronghold, which I think had a really great day yesterday. Most of the other Bitcoin miners were green.
Oh, Stronghold, you plumb? Did it get?
Yeah, but
whatchamacallit?
I'll look at the chart later. It had a good day yesterday. It was down 4.5% today, but TerraWolf up 18%.
Wow.
Stock ticker WULF. We did a video on that this week. That's our second one.
We should do a we should do. Here's the first poll. Who's gonna get out of? Who's gonna get out of into compliance first? Bitfarms or Wolf?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know what? What's funny is the last live stream we just had this week, there were people talking about I'm gonna get out of Wolf because they're so far away from $1 that it's just too risky. Or they, they're never gonna get back in compliance. And now here they are at almost 94 cents a couple of days later. So that's how this game moves. It moves fast.
I just think that he has a great presentation online. He just, you know what I mean?
The TerraWolf guy?
Yeah, I just think he's killing it that way.
Well, it's kicking in. They were lagging behind. Oh, I got to say thank you very much to FV702 for $5 super chat. Much appreciated. And the comment is TerraWolf. Woo. So serious. Bitfarms or Wolf? I mean, that's a very hard question for me because those are two. My Bitfarms position is much bigger than my Wolf position, but that's only because I started it, 2 years earlier. But I mean,
Wow.
TerraWolf is looking good.
17 hours ago, they put up a new, just inside their miners, showing all the miners running.
Nice.
It's really neat. So yeah, it's a really neat video.
Edmund's saying Wolf next week. Yeah, Wolf could keep running. I mean, it's only just now getting going. And it got beat up a month ago, in my opinion, as I went through. If you guys watched my deep dive, I thought the price action last month was absolutely ridiculous. They saved their whole company and their stock plummeted. That's all right. My viewpoint.
But you know what that's all about. That's all about the big people getting in there and fudding it up.
Yeah, it's...
FUD.
But that was buying opportunity. So, if you wait your turn, today was Wolf's turn. 18.26% to the upside. Phonebook-san said we're $10 away from a Monday morning live stream. Thank you for the reminder? Yeah, for the reminder. Ryan said Cleanspark still sucks. I mean, the stock is having a tough time, I'll tell you that, but I continued to buy all the way on Cleanspark, and I've sold none of it, so I don't know why that's taking longer. I think there's just no explaining necessarily any one stock's behavior in a short-term basis is very difficult to explain, but this is a waiting game in my opinion. I'm waiting it out on Cleanspark. To me, all the fundamentals are outstanding on Cleanspark. Operationally, I think they're doing a great job. That's just my opinion, but you guys know I've been clear that that's one of my high conviction plays. Yes, it's very frustrating. It's at $2.78. And we'll look at the chart on that one later because that is lagging just ridiculously.
I think the transparency thing that Paul did at Wolf really is pretty. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter,
No.
but that was very, very impressive. It was very impressive.
Is it? What did they do?
Just how they, they just talked about what their target price was per kilowatt, um, and how what their capacity is for electric and so on and so forth.
Well,
And
and we're
then, kind of took a stab at another company.
interesting. We're Today is the 31st. It's March 31st, so that's a few different things. Number one, the quarterly options expired today, so we'll see if that has any impact on the market or Bitcoin. Also, it's the end of the first quarter and it's the end of the month, so starting, typically tomorrow we would get Bitfarms update. However, it is a weekend, so I would expect that they'll do that on Monday, but next week I would think we will get the majority of the Bitcoin miners' monthly operational updates, and the ones we don't get next week we'll probably get the week after that. So we're going to know an awful lot of info coming soon. And March was a full month. So March was 31 days. That's as good as it gets. March, the Bitcoin price was excellent all month, so there should have been no self-curtailing. If there was any forced curtailing due to the weather, I guess we'll get reports on that. But I expect decent numbers. Now, the one flip side to that is the difficulty level went up again and again and again. So that is going to have some impact. Don't forget to smash the like button if you would. We got 22 likes. We're going for 100. We got to keep our streak alive. 100 likes helps the live stream big time.
Oh yeah, because we don't want to get delisted.
That's right, exactly. We need to stay over 100 likes for 10 consecutive days. I think that's how it works.
He wrote down, this is his closing line: "We have nothing to hide and are more transparent than any other public mining company, full stop. And I think an invested community should hold our peers to the same standards." That's interesting. And then he has based on his hash rate, what his profitability would be.
The one thing in there that I'll
gross mortgage.
The one thing
What?
I'll say that you just talked about that gives me pause, and this is just human nature. Whenever anybody, nobody asked. So when somebody goes out of their way and says, "We have nothing to hide," that
means they're hiding something.
Typically, I'm just saying as a life type lesson, when people say, "Well, to tell you the truth," it's like, well, you otherwise what? You've been lying. It's like it's a little bit of a red flag.
I know.
I am surprised he would use that language. You guys might think I'm silly, but
Those were
words
his
matter.
exact words.
Yeah, the words matter, and I think those were very poorly chosen words, in my opinion. I like what they're doing. I like that company.
So the accountant in Tom is the CPA in Tom is saying, "What are they hiding?"
Well,
now he's like, "I'm gonna go find it. Damn it!"
as long as they brought it up, I hadn't thought about it, but now I am.
They say that they're gonna mine 369 Bitcoin next month. May is going to be 511. June is going to be 496.
They're projecting?
So, yep.
Did they really give a projection for those upcoming months? That'll be interesting to see because there's some variables in there. Obviously one being the difficulty level.
I'm going to save this. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how close they get.
I can tell you right now, we can both agree that none of these numbers are going to happen. It just sucks, but we've talked about this a long, long time, and none of these numbers are going to happen.
That's probably the safest bet, is that whatever that says, something different's going to happen.
Yeah. Whatever this says, it ain't going to happen. Not saying that they're not going to try for this. It's just stuff happens,
They're doing the
Stuff
math.
happens.
If everything stopped right now and froze and was just like it is, and maybe they've accounted for some things changing, but, building a model out like that in the Bitcoin world is, that's a tough one.
Do you realize this could have been the best quarter ever in my existence of business? I was thinking about that.
Wow,
That must be
nice.
why I'm so gung ho on like numbers and profitability right now, because I know what it is, and it's just like that's what I've been doing all day.
I feel like you should be a happier camper if this was your best quarter ever. Come on. Let's bring, let's bring some love to the...
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. I know it's sad, isn't it? But I think that's the key, right? That once you get to X number of dollars, you feel like you got to go more.
Well,
Whoa!
it's...
Look at this guy. Go ahead. You can. I'll let you take the super chat.
Oh, thank you again. FV702, $10 super chat. Thank you very much.
Read
And
what that says.
he says, 40,000 shares of Wolf today, so party on. Can you do a show on call options needed explained? Sure. I'll write that down right now.
And I'll be there with you.
You know what I want to do is like 3 or 4
Monday show,
2-minute videos just to refresh people's memory. So it's like, oh, I want to buy a call. And you know, I got a 2-minute explainer video. I think that's the most effective thing because I know from self-experience and from others that, you know, if you're not doing it all the time, as silly as it seems, you forget. You forget in between times, and having a little reminder like that is a great idea.
All right.
So I will definitely do that, FV702, and thanks again for the super chat. Much appreciated.
So then you buy a call option on CleanSpark.
That's
You
right.
know what? We should do that Monday morning. Let's plan on doing that Monday.
Okay.
Let's plan on what time we're gonna be here on Monday, and then we'll do options.
What were we doing when we did the... Oh, everybody liked the 11:30, which is Eastern Standard Time, so that's 2 hours after the U.S. equity markets opened. We did it.
Yeah.
Edmund said, Tom, you are silly. You should have listened to yesterday's call. Paul got compliments on the transparency, especially monthly reports and power costs. I hear you. I like their company. I'm just saying, if that's a knee-jerk reaction for me. Like, and I was an auditor for many, 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 many years. So there's a whole list of telltale words and phrases.
You can tell you got a problem when somebody says, "I got nothing to hide."
That's usually, and I'm not saying that they have anything to hide. I'm just saying I feel like he could have chosen better words.
Right, that's all you're saying.
Yeah, I like their company. You guys know that I just did 2 very positive videos on them last month and then again this month. I like what they're doing. I think they have a great business model.
So what did they do to get in this position, Tom?
To get in
that they're in right now? Yeah.
To improve their position effectively,
Yes.
they restructured all of their debt and they raised $32 million. Now,
How did they restructure their debt? How did they?
Basically, a lot of the people that lent money to the Bitcoin miners, you know, they found themselves between a rock and a hard place because now they've got these loans that unless they do something with, unless they modify the terms, you know, they're going to get nothing on them. Or they're going to get the machines back that collateralize them. In a couple of instances, there was Bitcoin collateralizing them. So, you know, if you've got a bunch of machines, if you're a financial lending institution of any kind, be it a bank or something else, the last thing you want is 20,000 Bitcoin miners. That's not what you were hoping for going into giving that loan. So, a lot of these companies, including all of the debt that TeraWulf had, they agreed to restructure it basically into a cash flow model. So instead of principal being due every month, because these loans are short-term loans, right? The life of these machines are fairly short, so the loans are short-term. So what happens is these loans are running over these Bitcoin miners because we were in a crypto winter and they weren't producing any cash to pay the principal on the loans. So debt service was brutal. So basically what TeraWulf was able to do essentially is get into a formula where all their principal is not due for some period of time. I can't remember what the period is. And there's a formula based on the cash that they generate on a monthly basis. So if they generate cash enough to pay down some of the principal, then they will pay it down. If they don't, then they don't pay it down. They don't go into default, and they don't have this huge number that they have to pay every month that was going to run them out of. No, it wasn't going to. They were out of money. So that between that restructure and then raising $32 million, they're a different company today. I think they're a much better company today. So I'm always shocked at people's reaction to dilution. And in this particular instance, a company went from illiquid in what was very close to a hopeless situation and turned the entire situation around to what's a very promising situation now. And I think the stock, it's up 18% today. Well, why did it crash, when they made the deal? It was a buying opportunity, in my opinion, and that's why I bought it. And I think a lot of people on the stream bought it as well.
Do you know that this is on Lake Ontario, by the way? One of their plants.
I did not know that.
I didn't know it either until I just typed it in. On the shores of Lake Ontario. So they're heating up the water there in Rochester.
Yeah, hey.
Don't worry, everybody does.
Rochester could use some heat, so
it says
bring it.
Lake Marion will reach over 500 MWs of demand. That's a weird way of putting it.
What does it say?
It says will reach over 500 megawatts of demand.
This is, who are you looking at right now?
But this is in New York.
Yeah, it's all very confusing because
TerraWolf. This innovative project leverages existing utility-skilled power infrastructure to provide a new high-tech future for this industry site and will retrain and employ workers.
Well, it's not all in New York because I know they have facilities in Pennsylvania and other places.
They couldn't mine in New York anymore.
New York had this big deal and this big announcement how there was a moratorium and they banned mining, but I've yet to find one company that has been affected by that. And the way they, the press that they put out on it was like, we're shutting mining down. I mean, they were pretty adamant about it, but yet I think maybe DigiHost got caught in the middle of that. A couple of small companies got caught in the middle, and then a lot of people just said, all right, well, we're just not even going to set up shop here because they're not going to encourage the business. But there's an awful lot of these miners that remain with Bitcoin mining operations in New York State.
I wonder if this is the old Gannett plant that was closed just outside of Oswego.
Oh, that could be.
I bet you that's what it is, because it looks like they tore down some reactors by looking at the overview of the picture. Interesting.
Let's see, Edmund, I'm making money selling Hut dollar puts. Will be happy to buy at $1. Yeah, I mean, that works. I mean, you should, theoretically, I wouldn't imagine you're ever going to have to pay off on those. But like you said, if it does end up happening, you'll be happy to buy it at $1. So that works.
Did you see that from Tim? Over 800 Bitcoin mined by Marathon this month. Runaway train.
Nice.
That's going to be interesting to see what pool that was, because it wasn't their pool.
Yeah, last month they got their report out very fast. They've all got the weekend to work on it. So Monday's the 3rd. So I think Marathon and Riot are trying to get their report out in the first 3 or 4 business days of the month. Bitfarms has always gotten theirs out on the very first business day of the month. But everybody's been getting them out faster, which is good because, I mean, that by the first day of the month, that everybody knows what they did last month. This is not a mystery. So I don't know why they stagger them and wait.
Oh, they're in Foundry. They're in the Rochester. They say, here you go, another New York pool, the Foundry pool. I wonder why they did that. Why they only put, I think they have like 4.5 into their own marathon pool, and the rest must be in Foundry.
I don't know why they wouldn't have all of their machines in their own pool.
I don't know why either. It must be something.
I don't know what the answer is. Yeah, you're right. There's got to be an answer. There must be a reason they're doing it, but it makes no sense to me. And they're, you know, they're losing on the law of averages by not doing it. So what they do put in their pool potentially suffers. That's usually the, you know, usually you get unlucky, not lucky. So. All right, we're at 41 likes. If anybody could smash the like button, I would appreciate it. It helps the stream a lot. We're looking to get to 100. We got a streak going of 100 likes.
Every single Friday.
Every like counts. Every like helps. It spreads the live stream.
Spreads the joy.
Yes. It's all about the algorithm.
So you think like with CleanSpark, they just have their time is going to be just another day?
This is right. I mean, why? It's the same line of reasoning. Like, why was today Wolf? You know what I mean? When
the marathon was up 11.37 according to this.
Well, what continues to happen? So, thank you for bringing that up. Riot and Marathon are the two biggest market caps by a mile. Cypher is the third biggest market cap. So you're going to see the rich continue to get richer. Riot was up 9.3%, Marathon's up 11.37%, and Cypher's up 11.48%. So those are the three biggest market caps. Those were three of the biggest moves on the day. There were some other really nice moves on the day, and the biggest move was TerraWolf, stock ticker Wolf. But Riot was over $10 today. It closed at $9.99. So, I mean, if you just want to look at because these market caps are getting back up there. These had all been destroyed. Well, let me go to my little chart if I have it. All right, so this is almost at $1.9 billion. This was way under $1 billion this year. And remember, we just finished the first quarter, so we're only 3 months into this year. And if I look, I'm going to go here because I just updated this. This was my top 8 on January 1st, 2023. So you'll see my number 1 pick was Riot. It's up 195% year to date. And that is not the best performer out of all of them. But from a market cap standpoint, it has added significantly more market cap than any other Bitcoin miner. Just because it's already so much bigger. So as a percentage, you know, obviously I'm thrilled with 195%, but you'll see Cypher's up 316%. The problem is Cypher is, you know, 1/3 or 1/4 the size of Riot, even though it's the third largest Bitcoin by market cap, Bitcoin miner. So this is solid performance. And then my number 2, having said that, like my number 1 pick is great. My number 2 overall pick was CleanSpark, and that hasn't moved. It's up 36%. It is the worst out of this top 8 by a mile. It's not the worst out of all the Bitcoin miners, but out of these 8, it's not even close. So, but I've added to it since then. So we'll see.
Ty's saying that a marathon pool says they mined more than 810 this month.
In the marathon pool.
In the marathon pool. What
All
are
right.
you looking at? Old data?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I look at their active live pool. So I didn't add up the day by day, but it just showed like 4.7 exahash was what was active on the day that I looked. So I mean, we can check it out on you can just go add them up. They show you every single Bitcoin that's mined, that shows you who mined it. So, you know, if we wanted to take a half an hour, I won't do that on the live stream right now, but theoretically we can just go add it all up. So if they mined over 800, that's going to be the best month any Bitcoin miner other than Core Scientific has had. So that would be a new record. Core Scientific has always mined larger numbers. They scaled up huge, but obviously there's a asterisk next to that because in doing so they went bankrupt and they're currently in Chapter 11. So what that means for the stock, I don't know. I will tell you, I did a thing. This is why I worry about trading stocks. And if you're a trader or a day trader, you know, maybe you're good at this and maybe you can make money. But I was just looking today. I made a video when Voyager was falling apart. I made a series of videos. And I basically gave a big warning, like this is going to be a big problem. It was already down like 80% at that point. And I gave just a warning that, you know, the risk profile, in my opinion, has changed dramatically. And it's down like 95% since I made that video. So that's, you know, and they went into Chapter 11 is the reason that I bring that up. So, you know, now at the moment, Core Scientific's having the opposite. They're up about 300% off of their lows. But, you know, how they come out of Chapter 11 is until it happens, to me, it's just an absolute black box mystery. Throw a dart at the board and guess.
Yeah, I mean they don't even have. They just started going. I just got a form in the mail yesterday to for creditors. So I mean they got a long way to go.
Oh yeah, this is what I'm saying, and it's you get mired down for a long time. Now, having said that, congratulations for those of you who have made trades on it. You know, it's up huge, so you can get big up and down moves. So if you're a day trader or a swing trader, there's moves to be had there. I'm scared of that one. I've stayed away from it.
I like gambling.
Boxer's Empire said, do you think CleanSpark will move next week? I can't even guess because, in my opinion, there's no reason. There's no line of reasoning that I can understand as to why it hasn't moved yet and why it's lagging so far behind. So I feel like my best guess is at some point, at a time I'm not going to be able to guess, which is why I don't try to time this, it's going to catch up. That's what I believe. So is it next week? Is it next month? I don't know. Also, obviously, a couple of the factors, it depends on what Bitcoin does. So if Bitcoin keeps pushing, I think you're going to get a nice run. I think we're on the brink of the next nice move up for these Bitcoin miners. Today was a very good day for the Bitcoin miners. Today was another good day for Bitcoin, but we have been in, I'm going to go zoom out a little bit. You know, if I look on the 4 hour, we have been, since this candle, which was on the March 17th. So, right, that's 2 weeks ago. We've been trading, you know, it's fair to say, and it's not perfectly sideways, but, you know, we've been trading sideways somewhere in this range for 2 full weeks. So that's a lot of consolidation. I think that's going to lead to the next leg up, but we will see. The Bitcoin miners kind of lagged behind for a lot of this period of time. Today, some of them had a nice day, and let's get rid of that arrow. Bitcoin itself was up. So from where Bitcoin was when the equity markets closed yesterday to when the equity markets closed today in the U.S., Bitcoin was up about 1.5%. So you can see, finally, at last, you know, it's funny, I did a video 2 days ago, I'll use the word complaining about the fact that the Bitcoin miners are falling behind Bitcoin. And so now it's 2 days in a row where the opposite's been true. So we're starting to catch up. So, and that's kind of, you know, what I talked about in the video and what we've talked about on the stream a lot of times is that this happens. One jumps out ahead of the other, and then they catch up, and then the other one falls behind. So trying to guess, this all started with saying, you know, is next week CleanSpark's week? I just don't even know. I just know that, in my opinion, every way I look at CleanSpark, their market cap doesn't make any sense to me at all, and it's wildly out of line with its peers, in my opinion. So that's the reason I'm holding it. But you never know.
Well, this is that case where we take and I look at the year to date, what they're up. And year to date on CleanSpark's 32%. Marathon is up 143%. Bitfarms is up 122%.
Yeah, CleanSpark is lagging massively.
Yeah, Riot is 186%. Let's see what Wolf is. Wolf is 40%.
So Wolf, and remember, 18% of that was today.
Right. But no, this is interesting. So let me finish this. Cypress is 303%.
Right. That's the monster.
Hive is 120%.
I mean, that's more than a double. You can't complain.
So Any is 30%.
That's lagging, and I think people are sleeping on Any.
And Stronghold is 19%.
And I think everybody's sleeping on Stronghold as well. I think Any and Stronghold have a lot of upside potential.
Mawson is also up 114%. What gets me is that CleanSpark out of those companies is the second lowest of only 32%.
And they're a top 3 Bitcoin miner production company every single month.
Right.
But yet they're just lagging. I mean, you can bang your head against the wall, or you can wait for it, or you can give up and move on to something else. I mean,
here's
no guessing.
Here's an interesting thing. I don't know. Is this true? All time, they're up 6.992% of all time. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
All time, they're up 6.92%.
Who? CleanSpark?
From when they, I guess, for when they went public?
I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is.
Marathon, because Marathon is down 91.7%.
But those numbers are not correct, because I can tell you Marathon was a penny stock just 2.5 years ago. And by a penny stock, I literally mean it was pennies. And
yeah, it says all-time -4. Yeah, it's not right then. Yeah,
it's not right. And I can tell you, CleanSpark was trading over $40 in January of 2021, but they weren't even a Bitcoin mining company yet at that point. And yes, for those of you who want to correct me, technically they had mined like 20 Bitcoin lifetime to date at that point. So I consider that not yet starting your Bitcoin mining. So they had just got into it.
You know what they did wrong? They should have just said they're not a Bitcoin mining and just kept mining.
Yeah, if they would have said they're But the problem is the other thing that they were doing was small cap, high growth, basically pre-revenue. Yes, there was a tiny bit of revenue. And those are all the stocks. The same thing happened to all those stocks that happened to the Bitcoin mining stocks. Down 90%, down 95%. Wow. So, they can't win for losing. Either side of their business was going to get just decimated. I think, I just saw Jeff say the longer CleanSpark stays stuck in the mud, the better, in my opinion. I'm guessing that's because he wants to keep dollar cost averaging in, and he thinks it's a bargain. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Jeff, but let me know if that's why you say that. Brent, hello. Brent says hello.
Oh.
Organic Auto says like him or hate him. There's money to be made with Marathon, and that's a fact. Yeah, I mean, Marathon's going to be... It's hard for me to imagine that ultimately, despite the many bumps in the road, and you can watch my videos, I've called them out when I've had frustrations with Marathon over the last 15 months, but financially they're rock solid, and if they get where they're going, they're going to be one of the big dogs.
You missed, what was his name? FV, the guy who did the super chat. He's like, if you had $10,000, where would you put it right now?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, do I have to just pick one stock, or can I pick a basket of stocks? Because
I think you got to pick a basket right now.
With the positions I already have, so, I'll tell everybody, but you saw my list. You can see that Riot, CleanSpark, Bitfarms, those are some of my bigger positions that I already have. So I would look to add, TeraWolf did just run up 18%, so you hate to start buying it the day after that, but I think there's a lot of room left to run. I still think, to me, I own a lot of CleanSpark. If I own none, I would probably put it all in CleanSpark because I think they're the most undervalued out of everybody. I will tell you, I'm a little worried about Cypher. I like Cypher. I think they went from undervalued, they're up over 300%, and now they're, a $600 or $700 million company, and they're bigger than everybody else other than Riot and Marathon, and I'm just not sure their business and their balance sheet warrants that. So if anybody might be a little overrun, it could be Cypher. I do like what they're doing, and I think they're going to succeed, but they might be a little overheated. So I don't know. That's a tough call. I think Stronghold, you want to take, risk reward. I think there's huge potential upside in Stronghold. I think there's huge potential upside in any. Those have lagged behind. CleanSpark is the third one that has just lagged behind the group a lot. And those are companies that have all taken the steps to, fix their problems, if you will.
Gorilla said, did you watch the CleanSpark video with Invest Answers with James? They said they're going to do more dilution in 2023. Those bastards.
I did watch that interview. Somebody put it in the members only live stream, so thanks to whoever that was, and I watched it. But there was there's no doubt in my mind they're going to do more dilution. They've been crystal clear that they're getting to 16 exahash. So they started last year at 2 exahash. They started the year before that at 0 exahash. So, now they want to get from 6 to 16. That's a massive amount of infrastructure. So I think as the price of Bitcoin goes up, it's going to mitigate the amount of dilution that they need to do, but they're not going to get away with no dilution. They said right in their investor pack they need like $300 million to achieve their infrastructure and build out objectives in 2023 to get to 16 exahash. So, that money's, they're not going to borrow it. And I would hope they don't borrow it. And they better not borrow it.
I don't know if they could borrow it.
They probably couldn't if they tried, and if they did, it would be a huge mistake. So whatever money they can make every month on Bitcoin, and remember, they mine a lot of Bitcoin. They're likely to mine 600 Bitcoin this month. So.
Oh, are they really?
Oh yeah, they've had several months where, other than Core Scientific, they were the #1 miner by Bitcoin mined overall.
We're at 28.4. That's 17 million.
Yeah, so, some of that's cost to mine Bitcoin, some of that's overhead, but let's say they have 5, 6, 7 million a month left over. That gets put towards it, and the rest of it they're going to have to raise through equity. I mean, there's just no other way around it. But the question is, do you mind that dilution if they're a 16 exahash company, mining 1,200 Bitcoin a month?
Right.
That's their objective.
So, how many S19, the 143s, how many is that do you need per exahash?
Of the, the XP 143s are less.
Yeah.
The math was a lot easier with the SJ19
100.
100. It was 10,000. So now it's 6,000.
That's 7, how many?
Whatever it is.
Oh, is it really that many? Wow. Because I was gonna say you could do it backwards to kind of figure out how much money they're gonna need.
Well,
because they like to pay themselves a lot of extra money too.
And that's they don't pay any. I won't say they don't pay themselves any money. They do take a salary, but most of their
No, they have those, bonuses based on performance.
They do. They have a lot of bonuses based on performance. The
based
Bitcoin
on, what was it?
Mining industry is.
It's called the Viagra report, I think is what it's called, the Viagra report.
I'm not familiar with that particular report.
So they're going to need to buy how many machines? They want to get to, so they need to do 10 more exahash?
They need to do, Well, they've already done purchase orders to get to 9 exahash.
Okay.
So they
So
got to
they
get
need
from
7.
9 to 16. Right. I mean,
7. So how many machines is that roughly?
it's got to be 40, 50,000 machines. Yeah. I mean, so, and the infrastructure that goes along with it. Now, most of it they have, I think they can get to all 16 exahash at the facilities that currently exist, but that doesn't mean they don't have to do more build out. So there's some more money building those out to completion, so they show the money in their investor pack. You want me to bring it up? Because I can get to their investor package and just,
Yeah, why not?
because they say it's this much capex. They tell you they have nothing to hide, in the words of your buddy.
They have nothing to hide.
They have nothing to hide.
Paul Prager. Do you know if he's related to Prager University?
I have no idea. Oh, let's get there. So Jeff is asking, Mara gets better equation solving ability with a larger pool. So my answer to that, Jeff, is I answer yes to that, because the larger there's a luck factor in solving this. It's just like a casino. There's a luck factor that in every block that gets solved. So the larger your pool is, the smaller the luck becomes a part of your overall equation. You continue to remove the luck factor from the equation as you grow your pool. So as a very small pool, you could either get very lucky or very unlucky in any given month. And it tends to, for whatever reason, always work out that you get unlucky. I haven't really seen a lot of people get lucky. But that was the whole point of Marathon, is just their own machines was going to be enough to be a pool that, basically takes luck, minimizes the luck portion of the equation.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think about the lawsuit, CleanSpark? Is there another one for compensation? They're always being sued.
There's no lawsuits with any of the Bitcoin miners that I'm currently concerned about. Let's put it that way. There are multiple lawsuits out there. I don't remember this being this color. I think my this machine changes the color of everything.
Oh, does it?
Hold on. It's in here. It's in here somewhere. Okay, 2023 CapEx, that's their capital expenditures for 2023. So for miners, they're going to have to spend somewhere between $140 million and $200 million. And for construction infrastructure, they're going to have to spend another $70 million. So somewhere between $210 and $280 million is what they're saying they're going to have to spend this year. So how much of that will be provided by selling their Bitcoin? Well, that totally depends on the price of Bitcoin. So, if Bitcoin has a giant bull run, that could greatly reduce the amount of liquidity that they need through dilution. And remember, this is only a $200 million-ish market cap company at the moment. So, they can't run out and dilute themselves to that extent. They need to do this over time, and their stock price needs to get a lot higher. I would hope they're minimizing the amount of stock dilution that they're doing at under $3. I mean, that's a very, very low price for them historically. But these are the numbers. So this is for them to get to where they want. This is the money they need. But I will tell you, as an investor, I'd rather see them not get to where they want to go. They're already at 6.6. They bought the machines to get to 9. I'd rather see them end up at 11 or 12 and, not dilute themselves at $2.70. Now, if their stock gets up to $6 or $7 or $8, that's much better dilution. So I'll feel just fine with that. But that's
I found the lawsuit, by the way. This was March 24. Want me to read it?
Yeah.
No, I just to give you the highlights of it.
Yeah. Let's the
Defendants
highlights.
failed to disclose to investors that the company had overstayed its customer and contract figures. Number one. Number two,
This is for
is
who's
for CleanSpark.
okay.
The several of the company's recent acquisitions include undisclosed related party transactions. I know what that is. I'm not going to digest. I'm not going to get into it. That as a result of the foregoing, defendant positive statements about the company's business operation prospects were material misleading and or lacked a
I mean,
reasonable basis.
are they talking about the microgrid side? Does this go back to that?
I bet you it does because they said this is between December 2020 to January 14 of 2021.
Yeah, so I feel like they're talking about the microgrid side, which
Yep, they
listen,
are. They definitely are.
it did, that portion of their business did not work out as planned. But good luck
I will.
suing them for it. It's
But I will tell you one thing. If I become a director on any of these companies, can I still do the live stream? Do you know?
absolutely. You'll just
Okay.
have to disclose that.
I'm just going to disclose it. Okay.
We'll just put a little ticker along the bottom of the screen.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
George is on the board of directors of company XYZ.
I'm just saying that, all I require is the use of a plane. That's it.
Board of directors usually meets maybe once a quarter or something. Although I
Yeah,
bet you some of these, I'll bet you these guys meet a lot more than that in some of these Bitcoin mining companies.
Yeah, but it's just another Zoom meeting. You know what I mean?
That could be.
And do you think they really care?
Nash V said, Wolf connected to nuclear power in Pennsylvania. Nautilus facility is their edge. So yeah, they're behind the meter connected to nuclear power, and I think they're the only ones in that position. So there's other people that have nuclear energy in their mix of power that they use, but these guys are like straight to the source. So that's one of Wolf's big things.
I'm looking at Eric just put down the results for most likely what they're going to be for Marathon Riot and CleanSpark. You know what's really sad? That the company that's in bankrupt is going to have more than any of them. You know that?
Yeah, exactly.
Core.
Unfortunately, they have to sell all of them every month. So here they're going to mine 12,000 Bitcoin. No, they're not going to. They did, and they had to sell them all. So they have nothing to show for that. That's the. But it's also frustrating. I won't say it's not fair. It's just unfortunate to the rest of the Bitcoin miners who are not in Chapter 11. Core has all this exahash adding to the global hash rate and increasing the difficulty level.
Ooh, couldn't they be bought out? Couldn't people like buy out their facilities and their mining? Well, I guess their machines are outdated, right?
No, they're not. They're not outdated. They have a lot of. Because
someone's going to have to buy this, right? I mean, you don't think they're going to get out with like a new.
I do. I think they're going to come out of Chapter 11 because I think 6 months or a year from now, Bitcoin's going to be trading at double or triple what it is right now. And their equation broke down because Bitcoin went into a crypto winter. Right? At Bitcoin 50,000, they still maybe wouldn't have made the most money out of everybody, but they could have afforded to pay their bills. But at Bitcoin 16,000, no, that didn't work.
Are we out of the winter, by the way? Do you think we're out of
I believe we are out of the winter, yes.
Okay, so it's springtime?
I'm on record, yes. I believe so. I think we're... And that doesn't mean it's bull market, sky's the limit. I think... I said at the beginning of the year, and I'll stand by it, I think we're going to have a lot of volatility just like last year, but I don't think we're going to revisit the lows from last year at all. I think we're going to slowly move up through the course of this year in, a volatile way. And I think the next move is up, in my opinion.
FV just said, Core will come out and I'll be doing bigger super chats. That would be interesting to see what happens.
That if you're willing to take a risk, I mean, they're going to come out of Chapter 11 a bigger, better, stronger, healthy company that's all set up and ready to roll. The question is, how much are the current shareholders going to get to participate in that?
And do they pick a date, or is it when you file bankruptcy?
No, they'll when they finish their plan, they have a certain amount of time, and
Okay.
you know, usually they're certainly in no rush, because right now this is great for them. Other than the fact they have to sell all their Bitcoin every month, but they would have had to do that anyway.
Yeah, but they still get their paycheck, right? I mean, that's all approved, correct? Like the
Yeah,
CEO is still,
everybody's getting paid. Yes.
so whatever. Yeah, so because I was, this kind of goes back to SVB, and SVB gave out bonuses a week before they went bankrupt.
Yeah. Now you could be
Big,
talking. There could be some
big.
clawback going on there.
They already said they weren't going to do it.
Oh, really? Well,
Yep.
yeah. I mean,
They already
that's
said.
highly suspicious.
That's suspicious. No, yeah, because
So
interesting.
Eric is saying that March is going to be Marathon 818, Riot 697, Cleanspark 600. So, you know, if those are right, I think those don't surprise me. I think Riot needs to be at higher numbers than that, though. So we'll see. You know, 697 is, in my opinion, lower than where they should be right now. So, and remember, that's my number one rated Bitcoin miner, and it is a big position of mine. I'm just saying I'd like to see them at a little higher number than that. However, there is a big caveat to that. They are able to sell energy back to the grid. So if they made $2, $3, $4, $5 million selling energy, then that's going to actually be a great number. So we need to see that piece of the puzzle. There's several of these Bitcoin miners with fixed power purchase agreements that are able to sell energy back to the grid at peak times of need. And I know in Texas, there's some times where that price fluctuation is massive. So, you know, they kick back energy sometimes for a couple of days and they get paid $1 million or $2 million for it. So we're going to have to see that piece of their puzzle. And I don't know what it is. So, you know, it could be zero also. But I suspect if it's March and if their number is a little lower than I'm expecting it, and 697 would be lower than I'm expecting, that could be one of the reasons. CleanSpark at 600 doesn't surprise me. Marathon at 818, I think Marathon stock holders will be happy with that result. That's their best month ever. Organic Auto saying Riot must have had some weather or something again. Yeah, I mean, it's possible they had bad weather. It was March. And also, like I said, hopefully they got compensated for kicking some power back to the grid. JD, welcome. JD said, Wolf, what a day. Yeah, Wolf was on fire, up 18.26%. I just put a link in the chat for anybody who is interested. You can join the channel and become a member by hitting that link. It's $5 a month, so we have a very good crew right now. Thanks to all the existing members, much appreciated. Helps the channel out a lot. There's a lot of videos already built up waiting, so if you join, you're going to get instant access to all that content. We also do a live stream for members only every Tuesday after the market closes, and we have a members only Discord that, you know, obviously stays open 24/7. So if you're interested, it's appreciated, and thank you. There are a lot of members on the stream right now, so special shout out to all the members. Much appreciated.
Tom's not going to tell you this, but I'll tell you, 30% growth in 1 month. So
yeah,
I'm very happy with that.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Talking Investing. Hey, FV702 is today's MVP player by far. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for joining. And I do plan on putting out some extra videos for members in the coming weeks. So
yeah, because we're going to deep dive into the top 20 Oh, I guess you should say this, but
No,
top
you
20 cryptos that are out there, because we think there's a few other ones that could pop. We think there's a few other ones that could pop, and then a few other ones that could drop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna get interesting, and it could be getting around to certain coins might be start participating in altcoin season. We'll see what happens, but because I feel like we're out of the crypto winter, and I know George has always had interest in the crypto side of things more so.
I think there's a blizzard coming, Tom. Just a quick storm.
You think we're gonna get one of those like mid-April blizzards where
Yep.
we get wrecked and then
Just
it
a
moves
quick
on.
little storm, storm, and then we should be fine.
I mean, you're not going to get me to say that's impossible with what we've seen in Bitcoin, with what we've seen in the market. Everything's on the table, so we'll see what happens. But I feel like right now Bitcoin has some advantages. I think really this banking thing. I'm not ready to call it a crisis yet, but the banking situation. There's been a flight to Bitcoin. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And that makes sense. That is consistent with the concept of what Bitcoin should be. So I think it is gaining in adoption. I think people are viewing it as a safer place to put your money, as an alternative to put some portion of your money versus having 100% of it in the bank.
Somebody called me out, so I got to answer it. It was good, though. And I'm going to do it again. I always do it. Shemaine, is that correct? Shemaine said George is amazing at predicting stuff. You want to know what is even more amazing? I went 0.589 on XRP, and would we do that on the members stream?
It was on a stream. I can't
It
remember.
was on a stream. Everybody's like,
general stream.
Yeah, it was on a stream, and I said, and guess what it went up to? It went up to and this was at like 51, 52. It went up to 0.58204. So I think it was 0.584 is when it went up to. So sorry guys, I missed it again.
But that's within hundredths of a.
Yeah, isn't that insane? That's what I called. I called it days. I called it. It was that day. I hit it that night. Matter of fact. No one's better than Kramer at predictions. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Admin, just so you know. Oh, go ahead. You first.
Did you hear Kramer the week before SVB closed told everybody to buy SVB?
Those are horrible, horrible moments for people like Kramer, and I feel sorry. Well, no, I don't. Never mind. Hey, he's got to go on every single day for decades and, try to. Brent, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see what Brent has to say. Much appreciated, by the way, Brent, who is a member. Do you want to poll which materials sector is poised for a great bull market? My vote is uranium, of course. Altcoins moving to Bitcoin for safety. Super chat from Wolf Unrealized.
Wow.
Did I miss a super chat? Is that what you're telling me? So my apologies if I did. I try and absolutely make sure to get to all the super chats.
No, I don't think you missed it. I think he got profits from Wolf and he didn't realize he was going to get it.
Oh, I got you. Nice. Well, Wolf, everybody said I was crazy. Well, I feel like we were. You're not. Listen, search stock ticker Wolf. I think my two videos are the only ones that come up on YouTube. So I feel like we kind of got that one.
I do believe that there is some correlation to the moon and Bitcoin pricing. Yes, I do.
Let's per Brent and his super chat. Let's do a poll.
Did anybody see silver went up a couple bucks, huh? Couldn't believe it.
It's about to have a breakout.
You think so, really?
Well, if I say it, it's probably not true because I always get fooled on silver, but I feel like it is. If you saw my video today, I did go through. So this poll fits in nicely because this is exactly what I talked about in my video today.
Uh-oh, he's doing a video. I'm sorry. I'm not doing well. Yeah, copper. Copper is my vote.
You want
I'm
that
just
on the
reading.
list?
No, yeah, you should put copper in there.
Remember, we only get 4.
Oh my goodness, you only get 4.
I'm going to put silver because you were talking about it.
Silver. What are you gonna do? Silver, gold, Bitcoin, XRP?
We have to put uranium.
Oh, you gotta put uranium.
That's a given.
Dude, you can't do it because there's too many.
I'm going to go with like actual physical materials because today,
okay.
my video I made today was about, I've made 1,000 mining videos. Today was about actual mining out in the real world. And we've done a couple of those, and I intend to do some more because I think there are some bull markets coming ahead. So I would be fascinated to see what the answer to this poll is. So let's go. If any of these are spelled wrong, I think you guys will still get it. Any other suggestion?
Poll.
Anybody got a suggestion for... I mean, I don't want to go gold. It's not going to be gold.
Did you silver? You did uranium, copper. You want another one?
You want copper?
Yeah, you didn't do copper?
That's all we can do. That's it.
Okay. I was going to say oil, but that's not going to be.
All right.
Ooh.
The poll is up. Silver, uranium, lithium, copper. Where's the bull run going to be?
That's a rough one. That's a rough one.
This is a
I don't
great
even
poll.
know.
This is one of our great polls, in my opinion.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even know. You got to take silver out because I don't see silver going. Do you think silver's going to go crazy?
I think silver could run to like 28 or 30. I do.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
I know it's not. That's not
Yeah.
a monster move, but for silver, it's a monster move.
So, I have a question. If we have a collapse of the currency in the United States, does silver take off? Which I know highly unlikely that it will happen.
I mean, I think there will be
Highly unlikely.
Flight to silver, flight to gold, flight to Bitcoin. Shout out to Daywalker. Daywalker, 1999. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Then you got
Top fellas, always a pleasure. And always a pleasure to have you on the stream and as a member. Daywalker is also a member, so thank you for that as well.
Thank you so much. So, uranium or lithium? Those are the two that I feel are going to be. One of those two are going to just jam. I just don't know which one's going to be more. Okay.
I'm not even going to think about this until I see the results of this poll.
So uranium, do they use uranium for the new EVs or just lithium?
All right. They do not use uranium for the new EVs, but there is a massive incentive in the Inflation Reduction Act for mining companies in North America, and I think in the U.S. in specific. There's a lot of money set aside in the billions. I'm going to say $6 billion, but I might be remembering that incorrectly. A lot of money is about to go into getting uranium mining back up and running in the United States because it was abandoned. We are the world's largest user of uranium, and we mine essentially none.
What do they use? What do they use uranium for then?
The nuclear power plants.
That's it.
That's the big one.
Okay.
Scott Richardson said, "I'm 100% sure Wolf will get to $1." I agree, Scott. I would only change that to 99.9%, just because you always gotta leave that. So you're saying there's a chance?
Hey, that's how I got married.
I'm going to check in on the... I don't know what I just did.
Dude, that's crazy.
Checking in on the poll. Oh, everything. We got a close poll going. We got a lot of votes. If you haven't voted,
dude,
please vote in the poll. This one's a a doozy.
Well, the reason I didn't pick silver is if it only goes up $5, right? It's only a 20% increase. And I think that lithium, let's see what lithium's at right now. What is lithium at? Do you know what it's at?
And I'm more thinking, what I'm thinking, so I have something different in my head. So let me just say what I'm thinking about this poll. When I think about this poll, I think what's going to happen to the underlying equities, the stocks, the actual companies that mine these things. So, if silver goes up 20%, some of these silver stocks are going to go up a lot more than 20%. Same thing with uranium and et cetera, et cetera. So
Here's why I like lithium. It is down 35%. For the year, it's down 52%. That blows my mind.
What
Doesn't
is
that
it
blow
for
your
the last
mind?
3 years, though?
It doesn't give me that.
Because it had a huge run up and it has pulled back. Oh, Barry saying depleted uranium and weapons too. Thank you, Barry. Good point.
Oh, weapons. Oh, great. I would have changed it. Thanks. Because we're going to need, for some reason, I think we're going to need a lot of weapons, guys.
Let's all hope we don't need any of those weapons, okay? I'm just saying.
Don't know why. I think it goes, don't know much about history.
Copper for the motors and lithium for the batteries, said Shaman. Brent said check out the 20-year chart on uranium.
I don't have corn here.
URA, Harrison said URA is a uranium ETF that is a great monthly swing. I'm going to write that one on the list just to check it out. Sounds like it's a good swing trade. A lot of these ETFs can be good swing trades if you can just kind of get a beat on them. Lithium equals Tesla and the like. Uranium is great longer play, said Stephen Andrews. And Edmund, I have done a bunch, just so you know, I have done a bunch of extra work. I got that BAM videos coming out this weekend. BAM. I feel you were extremely helpful. I think that was on the private live stream, and that is a video for members only. I got that all sorted out in my head now, and the couple of comments you made on the stream got me to where I needed to go. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Because I was swimming. That's like the deep end. There's a lot going on there. So I'm looking forward to getting that out, hopefully this weekend.
Wonder who are the companies that make like solar panels? Are any of those companies doing any good?
Man, that has been a up and down play for 15 years now.
I mean, they can't. Are they have any advancement happen in those times?
I'm not a big advocate. The only thing that I have that has solar involved in it, in my opinion, isn't a solar play. It's an EV charging station, which is Beam, stock ticker BEEM. For those of you who've been on the channel for a while, you'll know that that is a favorite of mine. And that is an off-the-grid charging station. Now, it's not direct competition for ChargePoint and those types of companies because, it's only good for so much charging, but it is off the grid. It's solar powered. It has solar panels on it. It fits in one parking spot. You can charge a bunch. I don't know why I'm doing a commercial for them right now, but it's a company I like. So I'll stop. You can check out. I've done a couple of deep dives. I haven't done them in a long time because that whole sector has been sideways for a long time. So I just maintain my position in there. You guys can check it out and see if it's something you're interested in. I also think, and I will say, I never buy anything expecting a squeeze, but if there's one stock that should squeeze, if the stock market made any sense at all, this would be the biggest squeeze, in recent history. But don't count on it because it usually never works out that way.
What do you want me to squeeze? The Charmin?
Please don't squeeze the Charmin. Space Oddity said, as soon as they make a leap forward in battery technology, we will be able to drive electric cars. So yeah, and they are working on a bunch of battery technology. They're working on solid state stuff that's not going to need all this lithium, and that's going to, go a lot farther and be a lot more efficient. So I don't know when that's coming, but it is out there, and there's a lot of people working on it. So I think that is the future, but I just don't know how far into the future.
I think we should change the name of the channel to something to do with Tesla. Talking investing, and then Tesla. Talking investing, Tesla. I'm serious.
Because if there's one thing the world needs, it's another YouTube channel talking about Tesla.
I'm in shock. Why do they do so well?
There are so many channels that do nothing but talk about Tesla. I like to do a Tesla video. It's a very relevant stock. It's one of the biggest companies in the world, but I've done a few and people get mad at me like, why are you doing Tesla videos? And it's like, well, I don't, we all look at a lot of stuff in the market. The Bitcoin miners, I can't have a portfolio of just Bitcoin miners. Not that I have any shares of Tesla, because I don't, but it's a fascinating stock. And you want to talk about, making, millionaires, that a lot of wealth has been generated by people taking a bet on Tesla's stock. So Scott Richardson said, hello, McFly, Tesla Solar. McFly.
Tit for short. Talking investment Tesla. Tit for short.
Great. Wonderful. That ought to really help in the algorithm.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, hey, I'm on a stream. It's called Tit.
Yeah, but it's not what you think. Craig is saying QuantumScape QS is the best solid state battery play. So yeah, they've been working on this thing for years. I think they're the closest. There are other people working on solid state as well, but that's a direct, just pure, straight up solid state play on EV batteries.
Dude, this is real interesting vote. You know that? It's almost check. It's real tight.
Wow.
It's real tight.
This is one of our closest polls ever, and I should wrap it up pretty soon because this is only our first poll. Let's give it 5 more minutes. So if you haven't voted in the poll, check it out. If you haven't smashed the like button, we're at 80. We're getting close to our 100. Much appreciated. It helps the live stream out a lot, which helps the channel out a lot. So thank you to everybody who has supported the channel. Thanks to all the members. Thanks to all the subscribers. And thanks to everybody participating in today's live stream. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah, Tom, how do you feel about Stronghold? Honestly.
I like Stronghold. I think they changed, they're another one that was on the brink of, failure. And they were able to, now at great cost to them, they had to give back a lot of their machines, but they were able to get rid of a lot of their debt, restructure the rest of their debt. They do something different than any other company, I believe, in the world. I think they're the only company that does what they do. So they're both cleaning the environment and generating energy at the same time. And essentially, they're at the point right now where they either mine Bitcoin with it or based on the spot price of energy, they just sell the energy. And I think they've turned the corner. I think that's a stock that's going to be on the rise. It isn't going to be what they thought it was going to be, a year and a half ago. But who is. The Bitcoin miners all had very big plans in September, October, November of 2021, and the world has changed dramatically. So, Stronghold might not be what they thought they were going to be, but I think they have a success formula, in my opinion.
How do they trade copper? Because it says it's $8,935.
That's too expensive for me.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is. What is that? It must be like a tonnage, I guess.
I guess.
It's got to be a ton.
Edmund says he loves selling Tesla put spreads. So, yeah, I mean, that's another thing. We talked earlier about maybe doing some options, shorter options videos and walking through some of that because, people like Edmund are talking about some things that are, more intermediate or advanced type option stuff. And I know most investors don't deal in options. So I know a lot of you guys do, a lot of our subscribers do. I know a lot of our members do as well. So I know we have a little bit higher than average sophisticated people on that tune in. So but for the most part, people don't trade in options. And it's tricky.
I think XRP is going to do better than all those, just so you know.
Better than all the materials?
Yeah.
Well, that's a different poll. Because you don't dig up XRP.
I'm just letting you know.
Also, XRP is pre-mined. So you don't even mine it. They pre-mined 100% of it. Scott Richardson. If I could do my Ed Sullivan impression, I would. Got a really big
Ed
show.
Sullivan?
Oh, see, I'm dating myself. Really big show for you. Got a big show, everybody. But he's using your new title.
Do you remember? It was funny because you used to stay up late to watch that and you were a kid.
We used to, I mean, for me, when I was a kid, it was Johnny Carson.
Johnny.
You know Johnny Carson. But probably a lot of these people, well, that can be our next poll. Who remembers Johnny Carson? The poll is contradicting George. I'm buying some copper. Sorry, who said
I don't know
that?
anything to do with any of the. I don't even know what this stuff is used for. Do you need it?
Somebody must need it.
I'm serious too.
Dude, copper's in everything.
Is it?
A lot of copper. This is crazy tight poll. Is the time up?
Yeah, it's up.
There is a winner. I'm going to call it on this poll, but this...
What do you mean there is a winner? It's tied.
No, because those two are tied for second. I'm doing it. I'm ending it. This is our closest poll we've ever had in the history of the channel. The final results are lithium in first place at 29%,
Wow.
silver and uranium tied, just 2 points behind at 27%, and copper at 16%. Absolutely by far the closest poll we've ever had. For me, I would have said uranium. I don't get to vote because I made the poll, but I would have voted, so that would have been one more vote for uranium if I was voting. But it's not like I think those are all, there's a reason we did the poll. I think those are some bull markets right there on that list that are coming up. So Brent said a lot of copper in EVs, I believe.
Wonder
JD
if they came down. How much
Randolph
the price
and
would come down.
Mortimer Duke approved poll.
Mortimer.
Yes, the usual bet.
I was watching some old Eddie Murphy. Dude, raw. Matter of fact, that's what it was called, raw. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that was a hit when that came out.
Yeah, when I'm going to San Francisco.
I don't think you could do that
Woo,
anymore.
woo, woo, woo.
That whole
That was so funny.
I think he would be canceled for that.
You think he would be really? Why?
You just watched it.
WrestleMania. Was WrestleMania this weekend?
I don't know. Defunded Short said, I saw a clip of an upcoming shortage on copper. Aha.
But I don't know if it's gonna like make the price go up.
Well, we don't know, but that's a theoretical correlation. Just zooming out to the 1 day. Because I think this chart looks... So I'm going to take all my lines off of it for the moment. I think this looks very healthy. I mean...
What, Bitcoin?
Yeah, this is the Bitcoin chart on the 1 day time frame. And if you remember, we were talking... I think maybe, actually, George, it might have just been you and me talking at lunch. This Bitcoin had... It looked like... So Bitcoin had a big run up. It double bottomed. November 21st was the second bottoming. And it had this bull run. And this was 64%. So in my mind, when we went below this right here, I felt like maybe we had to test some points lower than this. I think we got... This line provided some support because this happens simultaneous with the banking situation. And I think people started to flee into Bitcoin. I think we might have had some more pain ahead of us. And this was the pain you were talking about, George, to getting down to some lower numbers. And I think we got saved from that. Kevin, thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. No question, no thoughts, just a super chat. Much appreciated. And feel free to ask a question.
He said, Kill Tony is a great show, free on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, he did say it.
Who is Kill
I have
Tony?
not seen that. Oh, it's a comedy show. All right, shout out to Kill Tony from Kevin. And it's free on YouTube?
Does anybody know if Bitcoin is going up because of retail or the whales?
If anybody ever saw my notes after one of these live streams, they would be baffled.
That's the question. Why is it going up, Tom?
Why is Bitcoin going up?
Yep.
I think Bitcoin's been on I think we bottomed out. I think this is a part of a healthy recovery process. I think that although things would have gotten a little bit worse, I think this banking situation saved the day a little bit for Bitcoin. I don't think we were going to awful, terrible places, but I do think maybe we were going down to, 19 or 18, possibly even this 17.5. 15.5 would be revisiting our... All right, I'm going to say all-time low, but it's not our all-time low. This cycle around, that would be the low. But I don't think I don't believe we're going back to any of these numbers. I think we went back, we revisited just under 20,000. So this daily candle closed at 20,230. So we didn't even have a daily candle close under 20,000. So I think there's a very strong line of support at 20,000. I don't think we're going below that. We might retest it, I guess. It depends. The wind changes direction awfully quickly around here in the Bitcoin world. So I don't think we're going to go retest this, but it's possible. I really did think we were going to retest 25,200. That hasn't happened yet. So, we're going to get one of two things, it looks like here. Can we get a breakout and get above this line? This is a very long-term line of resistance. If I zoom out and go to the 1 week, So we crossed this in June of 2022. And you can see prior to that, it was support back in June of 2021. So it flipped from support in June of 2021 to resistance in June of 2022. And we have not been back above it other than to candle wick above it. I'm going to go back to the 1 day. There was 1 day, which was yesterday, I guess, where we candle wicked above that. And that's it. Did I miss another super chat from Kevin? Kevin, thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Do we get 30K over the weekend? Question mark.
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like this is the second weekend in a row we've asked this question. So
I know, it's just sitting right there.
Second time's the charm.
But we got to the 29.
Yeah, we got to
Like
20.
What did I say? 29, 2?
Let's see where this one got. We got to, this says 29,190. I thought it was over 29,2. But somewhere around there, somewhere around 29,200. And that really was yesterday? I felt like that was the day before, but okay, that was yesterday. And we turned around. We ended up with a red candle yesterday, but we've turned around and now we got a green candle and we're pushing it again. So I'm going to say yes. 30,000 this weekend. Come on.
I mean, it's got to happen eventually.
So that's our, we don't have a poll right now. So now we're really going to go micro on this.
You're going micro on it?
Well, we've been asking generically what's going to happen in the next month or blah, blah, blah. I'm saying this weekend. Is Bitcoin going to break 30K this weekend? Is Bitcoin going to break 30K this weekend? Just straight up, yes or no? So
I know what mine was.
We got like 2.5 days here. Technically.
Do you think it's possible for Bitcoin to break it and then just go parabolic and just go right to like 60 again?
I mean, 60 is very aggressive, but I do think that, yeah, I do think there could be a big sudden push to the upside. That is how Bitcoin moves. So if we ran up, you know, and I'm not saying over the weekend, but if all of a sudden we went on a tear and ran up to 40,000, that would not shock me. I'm not predicting that, but it would by no means shock me. I am predicting at some point this year that that will happen. I don't think it's next. You know, I think we got a lot of, they're going to make us pay for it all year long with volatility, but I do think, I mean, 48,000 is what I think Bitcoin's going to get to this year. That's what I said on January 1st, and I actually now, I'm not going to change my own pick, but I think it's going to get even higher than that. So am I FOMOing? Maybe. All right, we got 86 likes. If you're here and you haven't smashed the like button and you're willing to, it helps the stream out a lot. It helps the channel out a lot, so it's much appreciated. Also, another special thanks to all of our existing members. Thank you very much for helping the channel stay alive and help me do this every day. And thanks for all the positive comments as well, which I did put one video out where the comments were not as nice. I can't remember which one that was.
What video was that?
I'm trying to remember. People were angry about something. I don't remember what it was. Well, some people were angry that I put a video out that was not relating to Bitcoin. So they were like, "Oh, stick to Bitcoin." So just so you guys know,
I
mean,
agree.
Oh,
did someone say that about XRP?
I've done hundreds of videos that are not about Bitcoin. Now, I've done 700 videos that are about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners, so it definitely dominates the channel. But I am trying to diversify. We've talked about this amongst the members quite a bit.
Talk about it from market cap perspective, and then you'll understand how we are in such a niche market.
Right. This is a tiny, tiny, tiny,
Yeah.
tiny little distant corner of the stock market that we're sitting in. Now, I
Right.
do think it's one that has some of the most upside potential in the entire market. So I like being in it, but it's very small. We're talking about the Bitcoin miners. If you add them up all put together, understanding a lot of them have doubled or tripled already this year, it's still, not $10 billion. So, that's less than one small cap company. And that's why I think, I'm looking at mining. I look at the EVs. They've been beaten down badly. There's some small cap, high growth stocks I covered in the past that, people have lost interest in the meantime. But at some point, we're going to go risk on again. You would think.
Do you think, Tom, question for you, what will Bitcoin have to be to get Marathon back to $60?
Marathon to 60. Yeah, I mean
60.
that's so
That's a 5x from here roughly. 6x.
I mean it could be with the increase in difficulty level, and as time has gone by, it may require Bitcoin revisiting its all-time high at somewhere under 70,000. I think 69,000. So I would say 65 to 70,000, in my opinion, before Marathon gets that far. Now, I do think there's still a lot of upside between now and then. And remember, Marathon did just double. So, if it doubles again, and you were in it from the bottom, these are starting to be very good returns. Really, Riot has been out ahead. Today, Marathon did a little better than Riot, but Riot's market cap is now putting some distance between itself and Marathon, although they're the two largest by far. But let's check them right now. So Riot is at the end of today, and I'm using Yahoo Finance, and this isn't always precise, but it's usually reasonably accurate. This is about $1.9 billion for Riot, and Marathon's now at about $1.6 billion. So for a long time, for almost probably a year, Marathon had a larger market cap than Riot did. Now that's flip-flopped. And they actually crossed about a month ago. They kept going back and forth and back and forth. And now Riot's pulled away a little bit. We'll see what happens. But those are by far, I'm going to go to my market cap chart, which is not updated for this week. So this is as of last week. And that is not. So you can see, look how much they grew this in the last week. So this was last Friday, March 24th. It's now March 31st, the end of the month, the end of the quarter. So a week ago, this was 1.4 and 1.3. Now it's 1.9 and 1.6. So these continue to dominate this sector. This has gone from 531. I think you're going to see it's like 650 now. Something in that neighborhood. Almost 670. So to put it in perspective, Cypher is significantly higher market cap today than Marathon and Riot had on January 1st of this year. Significantly higher. So that's how much everything has already changed just in one quarter. So when you ask, what's it going to take to get back to its all-time highs? Things happen fast in this because all of these market caps are so small compared to, I'm going to use the word a regular company. Most of the rest of even the companies in the Russell 2000 these are small even for that, which are the small cap stocks. So, and we just looked at the big three. If you look from there, it falls off a cliff. I mean, you got things like, this is why I think there's a lot of room in Stronghold. Stronghold could 10x and it's still only a $200 million market cap. It was more than that a year ago. So, this is why, like we talked about, this is a very niche thing, the Bitcoin miners, but I do think there's massive, massive upside if the for the Bitcoin miners that execute properly, and if Bitcoin can get healthier, it's been getting healthier all year so far this year. We'll see what happens. But it's not the only bull market in the entire market. So I think I think some of these materials, and that's why I had that poll, I do think some of these materials are going to have a run, in my opinion. And there's a lot, just so you know, one of my main reasons for that is there's an awful lot of federal money that's going into those companies. So that is going to help.
A ton of that money. 30K this weekend, 58% yes, 42 no.
All right, it's hanging out. It's hanging out. It's winning. Oh, Carmack the artist wants to take his vote back and switch.
So somebody was talking about why they think Bitcoin. Well, the question was, why do people think Bitcoin will go over 30,000 this weekend? You want to take that question? I mean, you're the one that feels it will go up a little. I have an answer.
Why do I think it's going to go over 30,000 this weekend? And I don't know that for a fact. Obviously, nobody knows. But I'm still looking at the technicals, and we have been knocking on the door. I'm going to go to the 1 day. I mean, this is a significant line of resistance. We hit it. I mean, we just missed it all the way back on the 19th, the 20th, March 21st. We hit it on March 22nd. We hit it again on March 23rd. We hit it again on March 30th. I mean, one of these times I feel like we're going to punch through. And once we punch through here, I think there's, just like what happened here, once you break through some of these points of resistance, this purple line was some serious resistance. Once we got through it, we ran up. So I think, it's a pretty short hike. To get to 30,000 from here, we need to... Let's just get close enough. So 5.5%. That's a decent move to the upside. That's a pretty solid move to the upside. So that is not going to be easy. But I think we could blow past that. What would be fantastic is if we could get through this line and start to create some support here at this 28.8. Because, we've all been beaten up so badly over the last 15, 16 months that we forget 28.8 is not it's awesome compared to 17,000, but I mean, we were at Bitcoin 50, 60, 65,000 for a while there. So we fell. I'm gonna pull up my last reason I believe that the crypto winter is over.
You have a reason, huh?
Well, I have many reasons, but we've talked about this on the channel a lot. This yellow line right here is the 200-week moving average. So Bitcoin is almost never, much less than, maybe 0.1% of the days it's existed, it was under this 200-week moving average until this bear market crypto winter. We went below this and we stayed, we popped above for a minute, but this happened back in June of 2022 and we were below it all the way until, the middle of March we had, and you can see, this is another classic example. This was, look at resistance, and then on this candle when we broke through, it was off to the races. So I think we've put this 200-week moving average. That's a 4-year moving average. We put that in the rearview mirror. We are now above that. That is some incredibly strong support. It was boggling me. That's why I argue I think this was the worst crypto winter ever. We've never, ever seen anything like this before. Nothing close. The only other times it's ever gone below this, it was for a day. One time it was for a few days. And I think it's only happened twice. And then one other time it touched the 200-week moving average. This time it went below it and it just stayed there for a half a year, more than a half a year. So I think breaking back above that, to me, signaled the end of the crypto winter. That doesn't mean it's the beginning of a bull run, right? There can be stuff in between. Organic Auto is saying the move late Wednesday makes me think yes to 30K this weekend. It's been touching resistance more than once, and we are not that far from resistance yet again. Quite possible next move breaks. So I completely agree with that, Organic Autos.
I'm back. You want to hear it's funny? Kudab. I changed it to Kubox.
And what?
Kuba box.
And you did this when? Right now?
Yeah, I actually I'll have a demo for you before this weekend. An actual working demo.
And what is it
How
going to
crazy
do?
is that?
Are you ready to say what it does?
What is it? Yeah, it's it'll be like just like TikTok.
Okay, so there's a TikTok type of a platform.
Yes.
And you're going to have a prototype working by the end of the weekend. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. I already have it. I already have something working. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
I love programming. It's so amazing, especially when it works right.
Programming has gotten past me. I retire. It was never my thing, but back at the beginning of the internet, I made websites in HTML and that kind of stuff, but I haven't even touched that in so many years. I would never. It's all long by me now. Edmund said Wolf is at 95 cents after hours. That was at 5:17 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Looking for $1 on Monday. Yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin can hold, I think Wolf goes over $1 on Monday. I think Bitfarms goes over $1 on Monday. And at some point, I mean, this is ridiculous. These stocks being under $1, in my opinion, is just absurd. So I'm expecting them to make runs at much higher numbers. In particular, for me, for Bitfarms, I think it should make a serious run at $1.50, sooner than later if Bitcoin remains healthy. So it seems like they've been bent on keeping it under $1. Bitfarms more so, it's been closer to that dollar. Wolf just surged. It was in the mid 70s, and we literally had a conversation on one of our live streams this week, that it may, how long is it going to take to get back over $1? Is it going to make it? Is it going to survive? And now here we are Friday after hours, and it's at 95 cents. So that's always, that's just a lesson in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, the stock market. Like this is a volatile area we're choosing to be in. So
yeah, it is. You can end that poll. You gonna do another one?
Let's see. This poll is almost tied.
You can call that tied.
You want to call it? We'll call the poll and call it basically a tie.
Yeah.
We are currently undecided, 53 to 47%. That's within the margin of error as far as we're concerned. So we're split. This is the first time we've ever been split, but this was a much more aggressive poll. It was what's going to happen this weekend. So
mine is the 29. I don't think we're going to cross that line.
You think we're going to get
29.6 or whatever it is.
You think we're going to fall just short. So you think we may have an up weekend, but fall short of that 30. I'm not going to complain about that. If we finish above, if we get above and retest and stay above this 28.8, to me, that's going to be a massive victory, and we'll get to 30 sooner than later, even if it doesn't happen this weekend, if we can establish that. Sour Melon Gaming has said, what price do you think Bitfarms should be at right now, Tom? So, I mean, I'm going to answer that, but I'll also caveat that by saying I think there are many, many Bitcoin miners that are at numbers that are ridiculously low, that make no sense to me at all. And someday we're going to look back at these numbers. And, you know, this is what happens. Hindsight's 2020. Later, you're going to look back and go, man, I could have had. I think Bitfarms at one point got down to 37 cents. I mean, that was.
I think didn't it get below that?
I think it got. If I'm remembering right, let's check it out. I think it was 37 cents was their low, and that was like 3.5 months ago. So, I mean, and nobody, and you couldn't give it away. 37.77 cents. Right? And look at the low volume. You couldn't even give this stock away for 37 cents on December 27th. So, you know, that just goes to show. So I think it should be at least $1.50 right now, and it should be working its way towards $2, but it's an entire step behind that for whatever reason. This down to 37 cents here was madness.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. That obviously, this is always my opinion, and you know, who knows, but I think this is crazy underpriced even still, even with this drastic move to the upside, because you know, this was a $9 or $10 stock. Yes, they've diluted some since then. Their balance sheet doesn't look like it used to, but they mine a lot of Bitcoin. Their operations are highly effective.
That is a good. What percent of Bitcoin is mined in Russia and China right now?
Hard to say. That's a mystery. There's people that try and put numbers on that, but I'm just not sure of the accuracy. And there's an awful lot of, you know, if you add up all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners traded in North America, it's not a big piece of the whole puzzle. You know, there's a lot. This network got up to 400 a week ago. So it's been fluctuating between 300, mostly 300 and 350 exahash, the global Bitcoin network. But it did, I believe it broke 400. One chart that I saw said it broke 400. The other one said it got to 398. Let me go look at, I got one of those around here somewhere. Oh, this is doing the billion, trillion, million thing. So 337 exahash is what it's at right now. And it has fluctuated. It's gotten higher than that. But this continues to grow. And you can see the difficulty level. These are the changes. So every 2 weeks, the difficulty level changes. So if you look at the recent trend, on February 24th, up almost 10%, then up 1% on March 10th, and then later in March, 2 weeks later, up 7.5%. So that's a vicious run. And this time it's on track, and we're about halfway through, and it's on track to go up 1 or 2% again. But that could easily change between now and the time that, you know, the difficulty level changes, which is every 2 weeks. Gary said, I bought Bitfarms at 38 cents. Unfortunately, wasn't my only purchase of them. You know what, Gary? I know, but you know what? At least you got to dollar cost average in at a ridiculous number. I mean, think about how much that helps you to getting to break even. If you're not there already, you know, you're going to be there that much faster because, in my opinion, they were just giving it away for a while. And it wasn't the only one. And most of these Bitcoin miners were down in places that were, you know, George was talking. So there are miners that just this year, that doesn't count from their bottom in November or December. There's things that have 5x, 6x, 7x just, you know, in the last 4 months.
Yeah, it is amazing to see how much lower CleanSpark is. Because I put them as one of the, you know, better miners.
They're, from an operational standpoint, by every measure, they're one of the largest miners. From a market cap standpoint, they're one of the smaller miners.
Right.
So there's a discrepancy there. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe something accounts for that I'm not taking into account. I don't think so. I think the stock's just underpriced. I think they've created a lot of FUD around that stock, and they've beaten it down. And yeah, you know what? They continue to dilute, but they still have just about the least amount of shares out of any of the major Bitcoin mining stocks. They have significantly less shares than most of their competition. Here's be an interesting thing. Hive did a reverse stock split to decrease their number of shares. Let's see if they have more shares than CleanSpark does. Right, what was that? A 5 or 6 to 1 reversed stock split, which drastically reduces your number of shares. They have 83 million shares outstanding right now. So again, these numbers aren't going to be perfect. I'm using Yahoo Finance, which isn't always absolutely up to real time, but this puts us in the neighborhood. So this says 78 million. So that puts it in perspective. You know, if this feels like monumental amounts of dilution, but the fact is they were very judicious with their dilution from the beginning. They've kept this share count extremely low. Now, do I want them to sell shares at $2.78? No way. I hope they will minimize the amount that they're selling at this price. But at some point, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to break these guys and make them give away shares at a low price. So hopefully they are smart enough. His Honor is reminding me it was a 5 to 1 reverse split. Thank you. That was for Hive. And I'm not criticizing Hive. I like Hive. I'm just saying, even with a 5 to 1 reverse split, that still puts them in the same neighborhood as the number of shares as CleanSpark. So one of the main pieces of thought about CleanSpark is that they do so much dilution, but, you know, try Marathon. I don't know why this site is a little bit slow on this machine for some reason. Welcome back.
Hello. Sorry.
So Marathon's got 167 million shares outstanding. You know, and they're all mostly 150, 200. So, you know, CleanSpark isn't even anywhere near 100 yet. So if they end up over 100 million shares at the end of the year, I'm not going to be worried about it. If they're at 15 or 16 exahash, making them larger than most of the other companies we just talked about. Or I could be wrong. Could go either way.
Tom, it looks like the streak's going to end.
94. So close, but yet not there yet. If anybody hasn't smashed the like button, we're at 94 likes. We're trying to keep our streak alive of 100 likes.
It says 95 on mine.
Oh, it says 95 on yours?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
That's wild. All right, well, then we're at 95. Still not 100. So Nashvi is saying USA is 35.4%. I think he's talking about the global hash rate for Bitcoin. Correct me if I'm wrong. USA 35.4%, Kazakhstan 18.1%, Russia 9.6% as of February. And we don't know what the China number is. I mean, they've banned Bitcoin mining, but we know it's happening over there. But
isn't Kazakhstan part of China, or no? Is it above it?
It's not a part of China.
Oh, okay. I always thought it was. They look like the same people.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not being right. They have a certain look.
Nashvi said China has banned mining, but it still does occur. Right. I mean, we saw that huge drop-off in the summer of 2021, I think, when China banned mining. So most of it left, but there's still mining going on over there. Kazakhstan is also a major producer of uranium, just saying. And that was from Brent. And thank you for saying that, Brent, because when that list popped up from Nashvi, that's the first thing that popped into my head. I thought he was giving us a uranium list, but you're right. They're I don't know, second or third or something like that in the world in uranium.
Dude, look at that. We climbed up.
Oh, we got there. Thank you, everybody.
We did it again, Tom.
This is all I got. I got the George button.
So Monday...
The good George button.
So Monday, we're going to... 11:30 is going to be our next stream?
Monday at 11:30 will be our next live stream. So this was a good week. Let's just close out. Let's look at what's what. I mean, we're still creeping up. 28,524. I think this is very strong price action. So we'll see what happens. We got a whole weekend before the markets open Monday morning. Obviously, Bitcoin's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Nashv was saying at one time China was 75.5% of the global hash rate. I know, and I found it very strange. I'll never totally understand what China did and why they did it. I mean, they had kind of cornered the market, and then they kicked everybody out. We could have a whole another live stream just on that right there, but I'll leave it at that for now. So Sour Melon Gaming, by the way, George, I saw a post on Instagram the other day, and the Dong currency you mentioned the other week is from Vietnam. Sorry I doubted you. That is from Sour Melon Gaming.
That's really funny, isn't it?
You were doubted. Brent said, gotta run. Have a great weekend. I think we're about to run as well. So, George, any last thoughts?
Buy Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoin.
Don't worry about what Bitcoin and miners are going to do this weekend. Worry about what they're going to do in the next 5 years.
That's right.
That's my thought. How about that one?
That's a good thought. This is the long play. Obviously, you always hope to get a push in the short term, but I think most of the people here are in it for the long haul. So, good advice. Thank you, everybody, again, for joining us on the live stream. There's so many members on this live stream. Thank you very much for being members. Thanks to our new member, and thanks for all the super chats. So, everybody have an awesome weekend. We had a good week in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. So, let's see if we can beat it next week.
And Tits will be back on Monday.
Monday at 11:30 Eastern Time. 2 hours after the U.S. equity markets open. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone.
See you guys.